You may remember from your childhood pictures of Jesus in a long white robe, maybe with little children on his knee, or rising up from the River Jordan after his baptism, or sitting on a hill teaching while people shared loaves and fishes. One of my earliest memories was poring over images exactly like that in my mother's white Revised Standard Version Bible. It came complete with a zipper. And until it was time for the Sunday school children to go downstairs, I would leaf through page after page of pictures just like that. I spent a lot of time wondering where the pictures of God were. I had learned in Sunday school that Jesus was God, but he was also his son. So I kept looking for the pictures of the two of them together. And I think we kind of come at Scripture in the same way. And John tries to help us sort things out. Right from the beginning, he wastes no time introducing the key question: who is Jesus? Who is this Christ? His first claim is that Jesus is the Son of God, that he has been with God since the beginning of time. In last week's text, we learned that everything that was ever made was made through him, and without him, nothing has ever been created. Yet many times throughout the gospel, Jesus says that he was sent by his Father, but then he'll turn around and say that he and his Father are one. And we wonder if it's simply one in mind, like they're in agreement. But I think John wants us to know that it's deeper than that Jesus is God incarnate. Now that's a really big idea to get our head around. To help us, we might recall a story that American broadcaster Paul Harvey told. Remember him on the radio? And he talked about a farmer on a raw winter's night. The farmer hears a strange thumping on his storm door, and he looks through the window and he sees poor little freezing sparrows trying to get in. They're attracted to the warmth of the light inside, and they keep beating on the door. He has some compassion for them, and so he bundles up and he trudges out into the icy air, and he goes to open up his barn for the struggling birds. He turns on the lights and he tosses some hay in a corner, and he even sprinkles a trail of saltine crackers to direct them toward the barn. But the sparrows, they hide in the darkness. They're afraid of him. So he tries various tactics. He circles behind the birds to drive them towards the barn. He tosses breadcrumbs up in the air. And finally, he retreats to the house to see if maybe the birds will just flutter into the barn on their own. Nothing works. They're terrified. He has terrified them. The birds just didn't have any idea that he was trying to help them. He sadly watches the doomed sparrows through the window. As he stared, a thought hit him like lightning. If only I could become a bird, one of them, just for a moment, then I wouldn't frighten them so. I could show them the way to warmth and safety. At the same moment, another thought dawned on him. He had just grasped the whole principle of the incarnation. A man becoming a bird is nothing compared to God becoming a man. The concept of a sovereign being as big as the universe, confined to a tiny little human body, is too much for some people to believe. And that's John's predicament. In contrast to the Gentile world, the Jewish people of Jesus' time didn't feel that they needed Jesus to show them God. They thought they knew God quite well. what they felt they needed was someone to reveal the God of Israel to those Gentile guys. And that a Messiah would come to make Israel a light to the other nations. John writes that Jesus came to what was his own, even though his own did not receive him. He came to reveal the God of Israel to Israel in one very specific way, as Father, and in particular as his Father, not simply telling the people of God things they didn't already know about God, but showing them the face of God in his own face and in his own life.